Good evening.
What's up, Mr. Allen? How are you?
Hey, did you get your dirt?
I did.
Okay. I don't know whether the Lord was testing me to see if I would tell you, or He might be testing both of us. I don't know.
Well, it's
But
easy. It's easy. Something easy to do.
yeah, yeah. What'd you think of the chimpanzee?
I think doing these things never gets old. Sometimes I hear a lot of the same arguments, but every now and again, somebody will throw something out in left field.
Now, now, how long was it before they even started recording women? I know they were Eve, but I mean, it was several years before they even started mentioning the women in the Bible by name.
Yeah, it just says that Cain knew his wife, but yeah, there's no timeline there. We have no idea, and that's why one of my main argument as to not knowing the age of the earth is because it clearly implies that Cain and Abel, or at least Cain, when he was old enough to marry and to quote know his wife. So this implies that they were in the garden for an extended period of time, and then plus Cain went to a city that was already established. So I think that this implies that Adam and Eve were in the garden for a long time. I wouldn't say millions of years, but at least hundreds. That's why I would say they were probably in the garden for hundreds of years
Yeah,
before
because
they sinned.
I mean, you ain't going to build a city in one day.
Exactly. Yeah. So then you got to have enough people to build the city. So I think that that this would imply hundreds of years. But do me a favor, guys, hit the heart and the share, and let's try to get me pushed out an algorithm and see if we can have some good conversations today. And let's tear down this false belief system of evolution, because that's what it is. It's a belief system. It requires faith to believe in it, because there is no evidence for it. If you disagree and would like to have a conversation, step up on the stage.
That's what God made me out of, is that dirt.
Yeah, amen. Amen.
Let me see an atheist come and hold it up there and see if it. Here's what God made me out of. So you take the
I'm
same
ready
thing
for
and
it.
see if you can make a man.
Yep.
Or anything living.
So I could always get the people in the comments that are saying it's a fairy tale or a fable. That's hilarious. You guys never look at what you believe, and yet you say what I believe is a fairy tale. You guys literally believe in fairy tales. And sure, okay, let's see. So we understand the creation story, right? That God created everything in 6 days, and that's how it happened. So let's take a look at the evolutionary story. Now, I'm going to only change one aspect of this. I'm only going to change one aspect of it, and let's see who believes in a fairy tale. Because I do take by faith that God did it. Of course I do. But let's see. So this one is clearly a fairy tale. A princess is walking down the road. She sees a frog on the side of the road. She picks it up. She wishes with all her heart that the frog would become a prince. She kisses the frog, and it becomes a prince, and they live happily ever after. That is clearly a fairy tale. Now, I'm going to change only one aspect of this story, and it goes from a fairy tale to 100% what evolution believes. A princess is walking down the road one day. She sees a frog on the side of the road. She picks it up. She wishes with all her heart that the frog would become a prince. She waits for millions of years as this amphibian slowly evolved into a human. Then they live the rest of their life happily ever after. The only thing I changed in that was I add millions of years. I took the word time and I replaced it from this fairy tale from the word kiss. So all I did was remove the word kiss and added in millions of years. And it went from being a fairy tale to something that you guys actually believe. I've never seen the amount of projection that evolutionists have is astonishing. You guys believe in Sky Daddy. You guys believe in a rock. I'll take Sky Daddy over rock any day of the week. You guys believe in a fairy tale. No, you guys believe in the fairy tale. You actually do believe that a frog could turn into a prince if it was given millions of years. That is literally a fairy tale. And yet you guys project that onto our belief system all the time. I guess it's just because you're so embarrassed about what you guys believe, so that you try to make our position sound silly. Your position, I promise you, sounds way sillier than my position. Well, come on, TikTok, don't start doing that to me today. Is it Zeeling? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to correct you on your premise, what you just said. The reason why we believe that it took millions of years and you change the word for time and switch it with kiss and it becomes a fairy tale is very simple. Over millions of years, there is evidence backing up the facts of how it can happen, while the Bible has no facts or data to back up its claims besides just the book within of itself. So we don't just switch out
To the test.
word kiss for time.
All right, let's put that to the test. So since we have all this evidence for evolution, and then when you ask, then I'll do the same. I'll answer your questions about the evidence of the Bible. So if we got evidence for evolution, then can you give me one example of genetic information gained that's testable and observable that's not inferred? Since evolution is happening all the time, can you give me genetic information gain that's testable and observable that's not inferred?
Not entirely, because it happens on a really microscopic level.
Okay, so we have microscopic organisms that this should still be happening to. So in 80,000 generations, we went from an ape-type ancestor to a human-type ancestor. That's about a million and some change years worth of evolution. Why is it in the same amount of generational counts we do it with bacteria and we get degraded information? Why is it that evolution only happens long ago and far away, but the moment we start to test and observe it, we see the exact opposite? We see degradation, not information gain.
No, it happens. It happens now. There's documented changes in skulls becoming bigger, pelvis is getting smaller. That's the whole reason why humans are born unready, according to
that's micro.
All other animals.
Brother, that's a trait that already exists. Taking a head and making it smaller or bigger, and taking some hips and making it smaller and bigger is a micro. I agree with micro. That's why I ask you for genetic information gain,
sir, but the
not a
fact
trait that already exists.
you believe in all this made up bullshit makes no fucking sense. Stop
Gillespie,
believing in made up
why are you
bullshit.
cussing me? All right, get off my stage.
Deal with it.
Yeah, thanks for coming up here and cussing me out because I don't believe like you. That's another thing too. How many Christians do you see going into other people's lives, cussing them out because they don't believe like we do? Sure, you might find an outlier here or there, but for the most part, this is an atheist evolutionist trait. You disagree with me, so you come up and cuss me out.
I would disagree with that. We hear from both ends, and again, these are outliers. You can't blame a belief system based on what certain people do.
Well, I said Sam might be an outlier. I get it a lot though. I usually don't have Christians. I guess some, like I said, some, but the individuals that are cussing me out compared to being evolutionists or Christians or evolutionists. All right, let's get back on topic.
I don't agree with cussing anyone out. Yeah, okay.
I got you. So, genetic information gain that's testable and observable.
Sure, you see that some people are born now today without wisdom teeth. You see people that evolve. You see traits. You go to the Galapagos Islands, a whole place where Darwinism started. You ever visit the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador?
No, but are you familiar that they went back and retested Darwin's finches? Recently, they went back and redone that test. You know what they found?
Sure, they found that a lot of stuff that he came to conclusion weren't necessarily true because he was very limited with a lot of things that he tested. But the overall idea wasn't wrong.
I probably wouldn't use it as I wouldn't use it as an example if you already know that they've already disproved it. But more importantly, I don't think you realize what happened.
They disproved some details, not the whole concept.
I ask you, no problem. I ask you for genetic information gain, and then you gave me we're losing our wisdom teeth. Is that gain or is that loss?
Sorry, I got cut off. Sorry, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I don't know if you know what happened. The first thing I did is ask you for genetic information gain that's testable and observable. Then you gave me millions of years ago, okay? Then I said, why is it that we can see this in bacteria gets degraded? Can anybody else hear me? Can everybody hear me in the comments?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I got
Okay.
disconnected from my end, probably. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So I ask you for genetic information gain that's testable and observable, and you gave me millions of years. And then I ask you again, why do we see this in bacteria degrading and not information gain? And then I ask you again for genetic information gain, and then you said we're losing our wisdom teeth. Do you see how losing information could not possibly count as gain? So can you give me genetic information gain that's not that's testable and observable?
The reason why we're losing our wisdom teeth is not because our genetics say, okay, wisdom teeth, get out of here. It's because our jaws are receding to make place for a bigger skull.
That's great.
The information
That's great.
gain-
That's an example.
the
I don't want to
gain-
interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you, but we're going over loss, and that does not count as evidence of evolution because you're losing it. So no disrespect, I need some information gain, not information loss. If you keep losing stuff, then you go away. I need some information gain here. So again, do you have information gain that's testable and observable, that's not inferred?
Let me find you an exact example. I don't have it right off the bat, but just give me a second right here.
Well, if you're just going to Google and you're not ready for it, that's fine. I understand, but I'd much rather not have a conversation with Google.
I still.
And to someone that says that my logic is bad, it's not bad logic. That if you believe that we went from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human, then genetic information gain literally happened quadrillions of times. So stop showing me evidence of degradation and then claiming that's what evolution is.
No,
and it sounds like you got a potato chip bag, dude.
Sorry about that. We disagree on what we don't understand what we're saying here. You're saying that losing wisdom teeth isn't a degradation of information. It's the addition of information and allowing the skull to grow.
It's not addition of information. You're losing information, brother. Come on, man. It's a subtraction problem, Drew.
No.
What do you mean no? Yes, it is. Who's got more information?
Bigger.
People that have wisdom teeth or people that doesn't have wisdom teeth? And the information for the skull is already there. So people have wisdom teeth or people that don't have it? Brother, I promised you that I would... All right, here's what we're going to do.
Who has more information? A small micro SD card or the giant terabyte hard drive?
Here's what we're going to do, brother. I don't want to... You're my first guest, so I don't want to lose my patience this early on. But you're not going to show me examples of degradation and then claim that's evolution. Conversation is going to be over because that's all you got is degradation. It's a math problem. You cannot go from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human by losing everything. So I'm asking for genetic information gain. If you can't, that's fine because I told you I would answer your questions. So before I lose my patience with the back and forth circles, I would like to give you an opportunity to ask questions to me about my position so that I can support that.
Oh, sure. Okay. Should I start? Is it specifically about the Bible or flood? What area? I mean, just a general Christianity, believing in God.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the flood, I believe it happened. The evidence that I would say that would support it is hydrologic sorting, polystrata fossils, dinosaur boneyards, soft tissue, and DNA fragments being found in dinosaurs fit the flood model more than they do the evolutionary model.
I would disagree with that premise. That isn't necessarily true. Why would
well, it is. Like
for example, explain.
Okay, so like hydrologic sorting, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm not trying to interrupt you, and I know you're not trying to interrupt me.
That's okay.
The geologic column that we see behind us, you believe that this is slow sediment rates of uniformitarianism over millions of years, meaning this layer is millions of years older than this layer. Unfortunately, we know how we know how these form, right? This is called hydrologic sorting. This happens in water. And the problem that you got is right here. It's called a polystrate fossil. Polystrate fossils are found all over the world. They're polystrate fossils, but sometimes they're animals, but they're mostly trees where they connect the layers. It's a fossilized tree that connects all of these layers. So this unequivocally, without a doubt, proves that this layer is not older than this layer because this tree didn't sit there for 65 million years to wait for sediment to slowly cover it up. This is called hydrologic sorting. So the geologic column actually fits the flood model more than it does the evolutionary model because you guys have no explanation for for polystrate fossils. Number two, I talked about dinosaur soft tissue and DNA fragments in them, right? So evolutionary model says that dinosaurs lived 65 million years ago. The flood model says that they lived 4,500 years ago and with humans, obviously, and they unalived in the flood, the ones that we have fossilized anyway. So we can make some predictions based off of this. If the dinosaurs unalived in a flood 4,500 years ago, I can predict that we can still find soft tissue and DNA fragments in them, although it would be very degraded because it's extremely old. However, you cannot make those same predictions because you got a problem. Soft tissue, they're finding collagen, cannot last for 65 million years. And then now more recently, the fact that they're finding DNA fragments and the DNA half-life is 521 years or 27 years. This is a big problem for you guys.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
You don't believe what?
Time scale on the time scale on carbon dating. That's like
I didn't use. I never said any.
lot.
I didn't use any carbon dating, brother. I used the half-lives of
I'm just
collagen
saying, like,
and DNA.
Yeah, no,
I didn't use
that's what I'm
anything
saying.
radiometric.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like it's hard to believe that 65 million years. You can't use that time scale for what? How can you radiocarbon date something that's that old?
Yeah.
You know?
But Zealing, you see how that we know what the collagen degradation rates is, we know what the DNA degradation rates are, and they can't last for millions of years. So this clearly fits the flood model. So that's me supporting the claim as to why I believe in the flood.
Okay,
I heard
so
this theory. I heard this theory that
Well,
you
hold
can't imagine
on,
something
A.
without-
I'll
without actually
I'll
seeing
get
it.
to you, brother. But hold on, let him finish his thought
no
process since I was in it with him. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so I want to
No
first discuss the poly what's it called? I lost the word. The straight fossils, the trees. The trees going through all the sediment, which again, it's a false premise. Any localized catastrophic event can definitely bury trees like this in a very fast-paced reaction, such as a volcano or a flash flood or a tsunami. If it would have been the flood, we would see hundreds of thousands of forests at any specific place, but we don't see that. We see 3 trees here, 5 trees here. It wouldn't a giant flood.
You got petrified forests at Yellowstone National Park, which they have layers and layers and layers of polystrate fossils. I don't know what you're talking about. This is not just an isolated case of 1 or 2 trees.
So let's talk about this specific thing about petrified forests. I was at Petrified Forest National Park in Arizona. Do you agree that it takes millions of years for wood to turn into to quartz or the copper that it turns into?
All your answers would be answered. All your questions would be answered if you knew Sumerian history. I have something that's going to blow you guys all away. The Younger Dryas.
Me a favor and just wait to give us that. Wait to give us that until I get to you, so it's not rude and you just come in here and start talking last or start talking first when you in here last. I want to be cordial to my guest. I let the panel open so you guys can add to the conversation, but don't take away from it when somebody's talking.
I'm going to
please.
add everything. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow everyone's mind out the water.
All right, go blow my mind in the comments. Go write it down for me and tell me how my mind's going to be blown from down there, since you're incapable of listening and being respectful. I apologize you've been interrupted so much, brother. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's fully understand. There's a delay as well, so sometimes if people speak, it gets cut over. It's not a problem. I want you to explain to me how wood and all the materials from wood turn into quartz over the span of 6,000 years only, or let's say the 1,000 years that it happened.
Pressure and water mineralization. That's how. If you take,
Is this replicable?
Quartz fossils is yes. I can give you many of examples of fossils forming in hours, right? So yes, it is replicable. It just depends on which one you're talking about.
So let's take wood. I want you to show me a single example, not 2, not 3, just a single example of wood turning into quartz or solidified to what it is now, petrified wood, in less than 6,000 years.
Wood turn into quartz?
Yes, in Petrified Forest National Park. That's the white parts of it.
Okay, I'm looking at it right here. It says no, it does not turn into quartz.
So the material that it is made out of, what is petrified wood made out of? It's stone.
Want your
How does that
interest
happen?
of-
Show me.
Okay, if it's fossilized, then yes, that can happen very quickly. So it's just mineral replacing whatever the object is. Like if it's bone, then the mineral replaces the bone, and the mineral is stone. This is why they always say it's all stone and no bone. right?
So can you show me a single example of any amount of wood? Can be an ounce, can be 2 pounds of wood turning into solidified, petrified wood in a span of hours.
So
Or
if
even
it's
6,000
fossilized,
years.
yes, I can. What they do is they do
Show me
experiments.
such an
They
example.
even. All right, let's see. Give me examples where fossils were formed within hours. Fish fossil in 2011, the Tukasuma tsunami. Hours today, they found fish fossils that happened in that. I know there was an experiment done too where they put concrete on top of a leaf and pressed the minerals in it and got it actually rapid mineralization of soft tissue in laboratory experiments. Very rapid material replication preservation, for example, hours to days. It's not giving me. Now, let me ask it for the source of this. Can you provide a source? The strongest direct evidence is the R.W. Drum 1968 scientification of Bulta wood tissue in Verto Science. It's in PubMed, and you're free to go look that name of that up yourself and then go read the scientifically peer-reviewed paper, but it only took 12 to 24 hours.
For the fish to start the fossilification.
I think this
I'm not sure if that's the right term.
this one was wood.
But it's only partial.
I gave you...
to turn.
Brother, I'm just showing you how this can happen rapidly. You asked me for the source. I just Googled the source for you. I didn't know that this wasn't like known. Yes, it can. It can happen. Brother, if you have a lot of pressure that's forcing mineralization in, that's going to replace the wood material or the animal material that is decaying. So the decay does not take millions of years, right? The decay happens well within a year. This animal starts to decay, and pressure forces the mineralization to replace the whatever it is, whether it be wood, whether it be bone, whatever it is. Minerals replace that, and then it becomes the shape of that thing. That's what a fossil is. It's supposed to be mostly stone and no bone, right? That's the saying. So if you just add pressure and force this in there, yes, it can happen rapidly. I've given you the sources. You're free to look that up on your own, but
so
you're just wrong, and I'm sorry.
I just did, and the process can start within a matter of hours, but you cannot turn wood into completely petrified wood unless you have absolute extreme conditions that is not found in nature whatsoever.
Now I'm just okay. All right, so I've given you the papers. You're free to go look it up on yourself, but I'm not just going to do the yes/no game with you. Okay, I've already proven my point.
I have it open right here.
All right, I appreciate you coming, brother, but just, go debate Google now, okay? Because that's all I'm doing. All I'm doing now is just debating Google. You guys come up, you act like you have an argument, and then you have to Google everything at the same time. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Google. You guys can look at Google. But if you don't have the argument, that's ridiculous. What's up, brother?
What happens to an animal whenever it dies and it sits there and all the meat and tissue rot away, and then the time it takes for the bones to be encapsulated with dirt basically and become a fossil, that takes the bone is pretty much like porous. It becomes porous. You ever found a dog bone in the backyard or something? It becomes porous and very, very brittle and weak, so it's basically, it becoming a fossil is just, I guess maybe mud flow came and encapsulated it, right? And then that pocket turns into part of the stone, over, not a long time, not even maybe dozens of years,
Yeah. I see your name is Jesus the Ism. What's up?
My name is Jesus the Ism.
Yeah, that's what I said. So what you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what's your argument for evolution? What kind of evolution?
I don't agree with evolution. I think it's false. I think microevolution is true. I think all the other evolutions outside of that, macro, cosmic, chemical, stellar, all of these other types of evolution are all inferred and have no evidence to support them.
Okay. I agree with you, but I just want to like ask you, like, what would you say like to a guy that's like a biologist or like an atheist that knows biologists? What would you say if they brung up like retroviruses or like small changes happening over hundreds of million years can create new complex information, or like the DNA sequences?
If I did one at a time, if they asked me about retroviruses, I got two different arguments. I love the retrovirus because it puts the atheist in a dilemma, right? So, but before that, I would answer their question directly, and I would show them the Phoenix paper, to where they took what they believed used to be a retrovirus, cut off what they believed to be the mutations that occurred in it, and made it into a retrovirus. This supports my theory that the retroviruses are literally they're created sequences within our DNA, and then they become retroviruses, not the other way around. They look like retroviruses because they later became retroviruses, not the other way around. They actually started on us as functionable DNA sequences, and then they go into retroviruses. And the Phoenix experiment showed that you could actually take these sequences and turn them into a retrovirus. So I think that supports my finding very, very strongly. Secondly, it's an argument, if you're doing a mathematical argument, right? It's a probability argument. So the atheist will come in here and say that we have endogenous retroviruses in humans and in apes in the exact same entry points that do the exact same thing in us. Like, for example, we have two different endogenous retroviruses in us and in apes. It's part of making a placenta, and it's part of our immune system. And for it to affect us in the exact same location, in the exact same codons, if you will, then it would be mathematically improbable. So the higher probability is that we would share a universal common ancestor instead of this retrovirus infecting apes and humans separately and then infecting us and it becoming part of our genome in the exact same way. It's mathematically improbable. But anytime the atheist goes to a mathematical improbability problem, they've just stepped into a dilemma because they cannot explain this without abiogenesis. So abiogenesis is the belief system that chemicals can go into life. And if they want to believe that, they're more than welcome to. But it is on a magnitude more problematic probability, meaning that the mathematical probability of abiogenesis is far more of a problem, far greater than the mathematical probability of endogenous retroviruses. We see endogenous retroviruses going into genomes, that's testable and observable. So even though the mathematical improbability is very low, it's still there. So I can still claim that it infected humans and apes separately. However, you cannot claim that we've ever tested and observed abiogenesis. So the evolutionists cannot claim endogenous retrovirus as far as a mathematical improbability problem because they've already accepted something that's at a greater improbability. So then usually they can go to a deity argument, meaning that, well, God is the one that started evolution, but evolution did everything else. This is why it's a dilemma, because the moment you imply deity, then I can just do the same thing and say that, well, God allowed the endogenous retroviruses to infect humans and apes separately, and it's part of his plan. So the evolutionist is really stuck. They can't use it as a mathematical improbability problem because they got abiogenesis, and then they can't use it as the other problem, a deity, because then I could just use that. So that's my argument for endogenous retrovirus.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing really quick, and I'm gonna hop off.
Sure.
I just wanted to like point out, like, you know, an atheist will say like the fossils, the DNA and the anatomy, or the DNA sequences, or you know, whatever it is. None of those things, like, they don't actually show us that we're related and we have like a common ancestor. It all just shows like similarities and stuff. And there's actually animals or kinds that contradict small changes over long periods of time, creating new complex information. There's like an animal called a mud skipper, and it's been the same for, I think, like 1 million, probably more years, something like that. But what I'm trying to say is one more thing. There's no evidence at all for like a comet. It's just a theory.
Yeah.
Like that's all it really is.
I would agree with you. No evidence. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming, brother.
Yeah.
All right. God bless. Mr. Kevin, what's up, man?
What's going on, bro? I have two quick
Hanging in there.
questions. One, what was the atmosphere like post-flood compared to pre-flood? And number two, was the Leviathan did it exist before the flood or after the flood? That's it.
Yeah, the Bible says that God made all things were made in those 6 days. So Leviathan existed before the flood. The atmosphere was hyperbaric-like conditions. We can see this in trapped amber, right? We can see that the atmosphere had like hyperbaric-like conditions and the oxygen content was a lot higher. If you brought back dinosaurs today, like Jurassic Park, they could not get as big as they once did. They would be dwarf versions of themselves because today's atmosphere would not allow them to get that big. The Brachiosaurus, I think they've now figured out, is a warm-blooded animal, so it takes, it needs oxygen in an effort to oxygenate its blood, and so it has the nostrils the size of a horse. So it would need a lot of oxygen in an effort to oxygenate its blood in an effort to get that big. And obviously, it couldn't get that big in today's atmosphere, in my opinion, just because the atmospheric pressure and oxygen content is so much lower. So we can see this in the fossil record because insects breathe through their skin. So if you put insects inside of a hyperbaric chamber, they get huge. We have in the fossil record centipedes that got up to 8 foot. Today they get, about this long. We have dragonflies that get about this long, but they had wingspans up to like a foot in the fossil record. So clearly the pre-flood world atmosphere had a lot more oxygen and it was like hyperbaric-like conditions. This is also one of the contributing factors as to why people and animals live to be so long, right? Because people go to oxygen bars today to feel good. You literally go to a bar and you suck up some oxygen and it makes you feel great because oxygen helps your body repair itself so much faster. It makes you
environment.
They put
a lot faster. Yeah.
Every single football team has a hyperbaric chamber in the back to where if somebody gets hurt, they can put them in a hyperbaric chamber really quickly and force oxygen into their system. It helps them heal, and it's got just great benefits to it. So, anyway, that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You got any more?
That was it.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. N, I can't see the rest of your name. N4 or something, or NA. I can't see the rest of your name.
Yeah, so you believe that the flood is real, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the ice core in Antarctica and Greenland has been undisrupted for about 80,000 years. If there was a global flood for about 40 days with salt water, the ice core would show a large amount of disruption. That's my argument.
Go to that same ice core that you're talking about. There's a layer in the ice called the firn layer, right? So what happens is when snow falls, it falls on the cartoons, you see the picture of the snowflake. It looks like a star, but it has all these points off of it and it's fluffy. And when it falls on top of each other like this. And then there's these air gaps. Imagine it here. And then what happens is the more snow that falls, then these air gaps start to close and the snow gets compact. And eventually when it gets compact so heavy, it literally presses it into water. In the military, if you've ever seen a tank drive on snow, it literally presses the snow into ice. It's pretty cool to watch. So a lot of pressure can force the snow to literally turn into ice. And anything below the firn layer is just ice. It's solid ice. That's why they call it the firn layer. And anything above it is fluffy snow. So anything above the firn layer, you have these layers like this. But clearly the layers don't go back thousands and thousands of years because it's constantly getting compact with new snow. So the way that they do this is they look at the isotope. In the firn layer, you don't have layers like this. So they look at isotopes and things of this nature. So let's take a look at some of the things they look at. So we can go to their data and we can see that the Leakey eruption, which was a volcanic eruption, this is testable and observable. Humans watched it, so there's no inference. A lot of the times people, if humans wasn't there, they say this volcano erupted a million years ago. They don't know that because clearly nobody was there. They're having to use other radiometric dating in an effort to try to say that, which is inferred. It's not testable and observable. So let's look at the data that's actually testable and observable to see if we can get an inference off of this. Leakey eruption happened in 1783. And the Leakey layer, meaning that when it erupted, then the isotopes get in the air and then it falls in the snow and it gets trapped in that layer. This is all below the firn layer, because if it was above the firn layer, then it wouldn't matter, right? This is all within the ice below the firn layer. At 120 meters, they found the Leakey eruption isotopes. And again, this happened in 1783. The Krakatoa eruption happened in 1883 at a depth of 90 meters. And then you got the Tambora eruption that happened in 1815, and it was at 65 meters. So we can see this layering, and we got 3 points that we can make a graph off of. So the entire depth of the ice sheet that you're talking about is 3,053 meters deep. That's how deep the ice is from the top all the way down to the bedrock. So in 1783 is the Leakey eruption. Krakatoa is literally 100 years later. We saw 30 meters of ice accumulation, not firn accumulation, but ice accumulation. So 30 meters. So then we can extrapolate if 100 years equal 30 meters, then we can see how many 30 meters will it take to go into 3,053 meters. And that equals about 10,100 years actually. So when they say that these ice cores prove what you just stated, hundreds of thousands of years, no, that's inferred. They're looking at stuff that they have to infer in an effort to get those dates. In other words, they believe that this volcano erupted 100,000 years ago. They find this volcano isotope at this layer in the ice, so then they concur that this layer in the ice must be 100,000 years old. But if we actually look at the known, testable, and observable rates, it only gets us out to about 10,100 years. So the ice core samples actually doesn't help you guys out.
Okay. How long? Okay. How old do you believe the Earth is? Like,
honest answer, I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay,
the Bible doesn't tell me.
know.
I know. I can give you an answer on the biblical ages of the individuals, like, Adam was this age and this age and this age. But as far as the earth, the Bible doesn't say. But if you're asking me what I believe, I would say that the earth is probably less than 10,000 years old. But honest answer is I don't know.
Okay, from what science tells us, it's about 4 billion years old. Okay, so if you're saying that the ice core gives us an estimated time of around 10,000 years of how was it called? I'm sorry, I'm not really fluent in English.
You're fine, brother.
Yeah. Of estimated time.
Well, if obviously, let's imagine that you got we have 30 meters that accumulates in 100 years. But imagine 100 meters of that was actually from Noah's flood. There's no way for us to determine if it was or wasn't. So we're just starting with the assumption. It's called uniformitarianism. We see that 30 meters accumulates now, so therefore we're just extrapolating this is the way that it's always been. There's no way for us to know that for sure. But my point with the ice course was not to disprove the flood, but was to show you that it does not go back to the hundreds of thousands of years like you guys think it does. That's just inference. But if there was a flood, and this is what caused the ice age, which is what young Earth creationists believe, that the flood is what caused the ice age, then several meters of that water could have been frozen, and that's where this layer could have started, right? This water could have started. So you would have started off, let's just to make the math simple, let's say that 1,500 meters of it was from Noah's flood. And the last 1,500 meters is just from the accumulating snow and then below the firn layer turning into ice. Not really there's no really good solid way for us to test that. Did he leave? I got this light in my eye, so it's hard for me to see. Craig, what's up, man? Craig, you're on stage. Is it Craig? Craig? I can't see your whole name. It's Craig. You're on stage. Yes, sir.
I'm sitting here eating a donut and listening to you.
Oh,
I don't know anything. All I know.
I got you, man. You requested up by mistake.
Well, it's not a mistake. It's I believe in God very much. I want to listen to what you have to say.
Okay. You have any questions before I move on? Yeah, man. God bless. God bless.
Yeah, you too, buddy. You're in my prayers.
All right.
I'm always here looking at you.
Thank you, man. All right. To the guy above him, I can't read your name. It's some symbols there. What you got?
Hi, my name is Joel. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Nice to meet you,
I'm a
brother.
Christian, and I'm wondering why you don't believe in the pre-tribulation.
Right. So, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, right? And you got somewhere you can get, it's a little quieter, man. It sounds like you're standing on a highway. But 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering together unto him." That's the rapture. And it says that you not soon be shaken in mind or troubled in spirit. Let no man deceive you by any means, even if you receive a letter asked from us, that day has occurred. What day? The day of the rapture. For that day cannot happen until two things happens: a falling away from, an apostasia, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. There you go. So the Bible literally tells us that the rapture cannot happen until the man of sin is revealed. And we know that the man of sin is the Antichrist. Just continue reading the verse. It makes it clear. And we know that his being revealed is at the 3.5 year mark. So this utterly this verse just utterly destroys pre-tribulation, guys. They have to try to make this verse say something that it clearly doesn't say in an effort to try to get their theology out of it.
So, what do you believe in? When do you think it's the not the rapture, the taking of the
rapture.
the rapture?
I don't
know.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Oh.
No. The Bible says no man knows the day or the hour. I think we can know the seasons, but not the day or the hour. But the Bible says that the Antichrist has to do the abomination of desolation. He sets himself up to be God in the temple. So without a temple, it can't happen. So there needs to be another temple. So right now, I'm not too worried about it. But when they start building that third temple, I'll start to get a little itchy. But then again, we don't know how long the third temple is going to be. They might be sacrificing for another 2,000 years before the Antichrist comes. The Bible just doesn't say. So honest answer is I have no idea when the rapture is going to come. I'll start to get a little bit itchy when the temple starts to get rebuilt.
But do you know anything about the third temple being built pretty soon? They even have
they've been trying to do that ever since Israel become a Jewish nation again. They've been chomping at the bit to rebuild that third temple. Hadn't happened yet, but every year somebody says they're getting closer. So honest answer to that is I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I just thought you knew when it was going to happen. I mean, not
clue.
when, but like around. Probably, like, some people believe it's going to be at the end of the Great Tribulation.
Yeah, they're called preterists, and they're just wrong too.
Why?
Well, because there's no sense in rapturing anybody at the end. Everything's over. Why do you have to get raptured at the end? Or if you believe a preterist, like a full preterist viewpoint, then you believe that the rapture's already happened, and that's just really weird that a rapture happened and nobody notated it.
No, like not at the end, and maybe because I believe that's gonna happen after. That's my personal belief. That's gonna happen between the Great Tribulation and the wrath of God.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yep, it happened. Yep, you're right. It happens after the tribulation and before the wrath of God. So it
Yeah, because
happens
you,
at the
you
sixth seal. The sixth seal. The Bible says that once you see the sun and the moon go dark, look up, your redemption's at nigh. That's when you see Jesus coming back in the clouds to gather his elect at the sound of a trumpet. That is the sixth seal. But that doesn't help us put a time frame on it as to when it's going to happen.
You're a smart man.
and you as a Christian, what denomination are you?
I'm
what
a non-denominational Bible believing Christian, man. I go with what the book says.
I do too,
I
but
don't
it's
subscribe to any one. I don't subscribe, brother. You got like a lot of background noise, man. Stop popping pots and pans or something. All right, let me mute you up. You're incapable of doing it yourself, so I'm going to mute you up for you. And now it's not letting me. I'm just sitting here hitting the button. Let me go ahead and disconnect him. I don't know why it wouldn't let me mute him. TikToks be tripping. All right. What was your question?
yeah, no, I just thought it was crazy that it's Adventist. You know Adventist?
I mean, I've heard about, the writings of Atlantis, but
No, I don't read Helen White. I just heard. I spoke with one of them, and they believe the same thing, that it's gonna happen between
yeah.
the Great Tribulation, and I thought you were one of them. That it sounded like you were one of
Yeah.
them, but I'm not.
Hi, brother.
Right?
I
That's it.
appreciate you
That's it.
coming, man.
Right.
All right, God bless. All right, let's see. We got spirituality. What's up, man? Or spiritually awake. That's what it is. Spiritually awake.
How you doing?
Doing good, brother. Hope you are.
All right, so we've already counted out, pre-trib. So
Okay.
do you believe mid-trib and post-trib, or post-trib?
I believe in, so it's I don't like to give definitions away, so I say it's after the tribulation but before the wrath. Some people call that mid, but that if I say mid, that's implying the whole thing's tribulation when it's not. So it's after the tribulation but before the wrath of God. It is around the 3.5 year mark.
Sounds like a good answer to me.
All right.
Bro, can you drop me off?
Yeah, sure can. Yeah, man, thanks for coming. All right, let's see. How do you say your name? D-A-H? Paul B. Hurt. What's up, man? Bear. Okay, what's up, brother?
Yeah, that's what all my employees. I'm retired now. I employed a lot of young high school kids, and they always call me Stella Paul A. Bear, the Paul A. Bear. So that's
Nice.
what's going on there. But anyway, so I had an experience just 2 weeks ago with a guy that's engineered and recorded a song that I wrote. It's a faith-based song. I think it's gonna be good. But the thing is, he's Jehovah Witness, and so of course they're gonna try to witness to me. I'm a Christian, born again Christian, and it was a very interesting conversation. Of course, I witnessed to him also, but he asked a couple of questions that I guess it's was a little hard answer for me because I really don't know the Bible like you do. So I'm gonna ask you the question that he asked me. So when somebody dies, what happens to the soul?
They either go to heaven or to hell.
All right, so you're gonna go to hell if you're not born again Christian and living for Christ, right?
Amen.
Okay, so that's what I told him. And he asked me, he said, do you really believe Jesus would send somebody to hell? Well, my answer to him was that, well, of course, look all the cities that he sent King Saul and King David kill all men, women, and children because they were evil. So
yeah, Jesus doesn't send people to hell. People walk into hell upon their own free will. That's their choice. He didn't throw you there. That's where you go. People don't like that, but there is a dichotomy. It's either going to be smoking or non-smoking. You have to pick one of them.
So the next thing, I asked him, I said, so what do you believe? So he believes like this, and it's unbelievable that I had heard this from somebody, Jehovah's Witness, 40 years, very knowledgeable about the Bible, but he thinks that we don't have a soul, and that when we die, that we just disappear, and then when Jesus comes back, he is so powerful that just his memory and his thought is going to bring us back, and we have an opportunity to be right with God. Have you ever heard something like this before?
It's heresy, man. Whenever you start into those cult groups, they say anything. But yeah, it's not scripture. It's not biblical. So it doesn't surprise me, because a lot of cult systems believe in a lot of weird stuff that's just not biblical.
You think that a Jehovah's Witness is a cult system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Bible didn't say what they wanted it to say, they literally just wrote their own Bible.
Right.
And it didn't confirm with what they wanted, so they literally just wrote their own and then say, "Oh, this is now inspired." Like, what?
It was very interesting to me, and it's sad. It was a sad thing because we're sitting there in the studio, and he's a retired guy that records, okay, music, and so his grandkids came in, Papa and all this other stuff. Then when they walked back in the kitchen with their mama, and we were still in the studio, I asked him, I say, "Is your grandchildren Jehovah's Witness?" He said, put his head down. I said, "No." I said, "They're not Jehovah's Witness." He said, "No." I said, "Is anybody in your family Jehovah's Witness?" He said, "No." I said, "None of your kids, grandkids, or nothing?" "No." I said, "How does that make you feel?" "Oh, it breaks my heart." I said, "Well, you wouldn't believe that your family would probably be the easiest one to convince to be Jehovah's Witness, and that's not like a sign to you?" Then his answer was like, "Well, not everybody follow Jesus." But it's sad that these people are so brainwashed into this stuff. So I want to tell you, thank you for talking about the Bible and,
Thanks, man.
and giving the history of it. Okay?
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. You're welcome.
All right. God bless. Diggo, or what's up, man?
Me?
Yeah. Digo. Diggo. How do you say your name?
Well, Diggo, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's up, man?
I mean, it's all right. Yeah, so with you?
Doing good.
Okay, nice. Where do I start? I see you have a quote-unquote polystrate fossil up there. Want to explain to me what's all that about?
It connects the layers, so it shows that the geologic column did not happen rapidly, so it supports the flood.
Or is it just
the thing about
fuckers just made
it's
Jerusalem you
actually
believe
an upright fossil, not a polystrate.
Run away like an
fossil.
old bitch.
I'm sorry, what?
So it's not actually called a polystrate fossil. It's a upright fossil. It doesn't connect all the layers like that. It connects several layers of strata, yes, but there's actually an explanation that doesn't include regional or worldwide floods. Technically, trees, they have leaves up in the air, and they can have some parts of the stem below the strata, below the soil. So once they're like close to rivers, and those rivers seasonally flood, and they go back, and they increase their margin, and they go back, they leave sediment. So once they leave sediment periodically over a lot of time, and then ultimately the tree dies, but some parts of it are buried. These actually not hurt.
You got it, brothers. You just said a lot of
exist.
time. A tree doesn't sit there for a lot of time. That's your problem.
A lot of time. When I say a lot of time, in this situation, I mean like hundreds of years, because that's how some trees may live. And that's just sediment being carried through a river, and that's natural. Like, this does not convey the same message of there being a worldwide
Yes, it does.
flood.
It shows these trees are huge. It's ridiculous to say that these are just annual flood events. A tree that's buried halfway up by sediment is not going to continue to live, brother. It's going to be a problem, right?
Because some parts of the tree do not have
this shows
leaves,
this
so
shows
they
that
don't need to be like.
All right, man. I think you're using a rescue technique to go with the Occam's razor. So when we look at stuff, we use what we call Occam's razor. The least amount of assumptions is usually the way that we should go. We saw how these polystrate fossils form when the Mount St. Helens blew the trees into Spirit Lake. We literally saw how they form in real time. So we can then imagine a catastrophic event like that happening all over the planet. Shows that these are not the same, are different ages. So I think you're just using a rescue technique in an
Why
effort
does
to
it have
say
to be
that
all over the planet? And why wouldn't that catastrophic
because it
event
is all over the
not
planet.
cover the tree?
Because it happens all over the planet, and it has to cover the entirety of the tree. Imagine that it only buried it up to this far, and then it stopped. And the rest of this part of listen to me. So if the rest of this part right here is exposed, then what happened is they're going to allow oxygen and the organisms are going to eat the tree. So it's not going to fossilize because your organisms, there's no pressure on top of it, right? There's no mineralization falling down inside of it because this part's exposed. So what's happening is the bugs and organisms and stuff are going to come in and this tree is going to rot away and it's going to leave a hole in the ground. Now this we've seen before where the trees were buried but not completely. And what's happened is it's created a cavern, if you will, in the dirt, in the sand, if you will, because the tree did completely rot away. It rotted away to nothing. They've actually had cases where people's been walking on beaches and fell into these things before and had to be rescued. So if it's up here, then the tree's going to rot away and it's not going to fossilize. So you need it to be covered up from the top to the bottom in sediment. That way the mineral can come in and replace the wood and fossilize.
But that's not what we see, though.
That is exactly what we see. What are you talking about, brother? It's exactly what we see.
A tree that's been abruptly cut halfway, and then sediment goes on top of it, burying it.
That's what I just claimed. The sediment covers up the sediment covers up the tree. This shows that these sediment layers are not different ages.
Not
this
all the
happened
tree,
rapidly.
but half.
It cannot bury half the tree, brother, or it won't fossilize. You got it?
It buries
if it buries
half of it, breaks off, and then more sediment builds on top of that broken half.
Either way, even if you want to say that it went a lot taller and it broke off right here, and then the sediment layer got on it, and so this fossilized. Okay, fine. It still proves that these layers are not millions of years apart from each other.
They don't need to be millions of years apart. Some layers are, but not all of them are.
Okay, how do you know the difference? How do you know that when you're looking at a layer that doesn't have a polystrate fossil in it, that they're millions of years apart? How do you know that? Are you making that assumption of uniformitarianism?
Well, radiometric dating. Well, when we say uniformitarianism,
no, they don't,
it
brother.
Just makes sense
hold on,
that
wait,
some parts
guy. I am going to remove you. All right,
slow.
Have a good day, okay? I appreciate you. Have a good day. No, they know. Wait, I'm literally trying to have a conversation with you, but you're throwing out so much stuff that I have to go back and chase it. So the geologic column was erected before radiometric dating. So when you said they use carbon dating, you're wrong. Carbon dating only goes back to 50,000 years anyway, but most people probably understood, like I did, that you meant radiometric dating. And no, they don't use radiometric dating because the geologic column already was already there before they came up with any radiometric dating technique. So they use the geologic column. It is sad because I would like to have a conversation with you to where you and I can have a back and forth, but y'all can't contend with the science, so then you start monologuing to try to get a point out, and it's not a conversation. I want to have a conversation with somebody so that you can present your point and then I can present my point, not you just keep talking because you don't know where to go. That's not a conversation. That's just you coming up and monologuing. BX Ear. That's probably not how you say your name, but how you say your name. Oh, and he left. All right. Probably got mad at me because I said his name wrong. It was literally BXEAR. So, all right, guys, looking for some ops. Y'all come up and if you have any questions or disagree with me. But just be able to, guys, I'm not going to just kick you because I disagree with you. But come on, we got to be able to have a conversation. This is not a platform for you just to get up here and then monologue because you can't contend with an argument. BX is back. Maybe you fell by mistake.
No,
What's up, Wild Man?
Yeah, I thought this was something different, like you were saying, and going against God. But like, I'm with you, dude.
You come up to knock me down. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Respect.
Have a great day, guys.
All right, man. Do the same. God bless. That's what I like to see. Sometimes we got to invade other people's TikToks and show them what's up. And respect to everybody that does come on the panel that actually wants to engage in a friendly debate or a conversation, because I've been in other lives. It's hard. It really is. Because people want to mute you. They want to kick you all the time. So I try to get both sides of the conversation. I want you guys to be able to hear the other side of the conversation. But yeah, it's hard.
I'm going to jump down, man, because like I'm on your side. Like I've been listening to what you're saying and everything. By the way, I like the hat. I got the same one, but green.
Amen.
It's got that trucker back on it. So,
all right, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Problem.
All right. All right, guys, do me a favor, smash that heart and push me out in the algorithm, do the share, and let's try to get me out and see if we can have some more conversations. I am going to start looking into going live on my other platforms too, my YouTube and my Rumble channel too. I don't get any very good engagement over there, but I'm going to start also trying to go live over there to see. But I got to set up some kind of StreamYard or something like that to see how it goes. So it might take me a little while to get everything set up. But that is something that I'm looking forward to doing to see if I can continue to grow. Yeah, I see a lot of people in the comments, man. They like to engage in the comments, but when it comes time to come on stage and present their argument, it's not quite the same because they don't want to come up. Do you have a YouTube channel yet? Yeah, I have a YouTube. I post a lot of my videos over there, a lot of them. I post a lot of my lives over there after I've been live. So if you want to see the whole live, I usually post them over there. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Oh.
My name is Michael Jackson. I hope that everyone has a good Wednesday.
It was a little harder to understand you this time, but he said he hopes everybody has a great Thursday. That's the one troll that I enjoy allowing up, because he just comes in and says, hope everybody has a great whatever day it is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever. But yes, I do have a YouTube channel under the same name and the same picture. I usually post my lives over there when I'm done here. Sometimes it might take me a while to post them because I have to try to edit the cuss words and stuff out. I don't always, if it's not a lot of cussing or something like that, then I just let it go. But I try. I know that families and stuff like to listen to me. So I try to edit those out, and then I try to post that on my YouTube channel. I used to do it on my Rumble channel a lot more, but Rumble is tripping and will not. It just takes forever for videos to download on Rumble now. I don't know what's going on with it. So not as much. What's up, Paul?
Hey, guy. I'm just looking at your evolution is false, the flood was real. Pre-trib isn't biblical. What's pre-trib? Sorry, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no problem. It's talking about the rapture. Like you see people talking about Jesus can come back any minute now without any prerequisites happening. That's one viewpoint. And then you got the mid-trib and then post-trib. So it's just talking about the rapture.
Okay, so do you believe that? I'm assuming you're talking about Noah's flood, yeah?
Yeah.
So do you take that literally?
Yes, sir.
So on that boat was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives?
Yep.
And all of humanity came from that?
Yep.
And that was 4,400 odd years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And I take it, if you're biblical, then you don't believe in evolution?
Nope. I believe in micro. I think that's testable and observable. Being outside of micro, obviously, is all inferred.
Right. Well, let's just take Noah's Ark. How many dogs were on that boat?
Don't know the real answer to that, but the original dog kind, I would probably say at least 2.
I think it's meant to be 4 dogs were on that boat, but let's just 2 or 4 doesn't really matter. How many different breeds of dogs are there now?
A lot.
Yeah. So, if all dogs came from the dogs that were on Noah's Ark, then you would have to say evolution played a part in that.
Well, I already told you I believe in microevolution. So dogs coming from dogs is not macroevolution. You can breed skinny dog, small dog, red dog, black dog, but it's still a dog.
Right. So how does a Chihuahua come from a Labrador?
Well, it came from the wolf kind of animal, right? And it did it through trait isolation. And I don't know why you would be asking this, because this has been testable and observable within our lifetime. You agree with this, right? I mean, you know that this happened.
Well,
within the human writing stuff down, we've done this.
100%. I believe that obviously all dogs came from a couple of dogs, yeah. But the dispute I've got is you're saying that a Chihuahua and a Labrador all came from the two dogs that were on Noah's Ark.
Do you hear?
4,500 years ago. Then
I don't want to sound degrading. I got you. But hold on just 1 second. I don't want to sound degrading, but this is literally your argument. In the last 2 seconds, you said, how did we get all the Chihuahuas from the Labrador or the dog, right? And then I said, but this happened. And you go, yeah, I believe it happened. So if you believe it happened and you know it happened, then why are you asking me how it happened?
Right. You're missing the point I'm making. The point is...
Yeah, I am.
Right. I'll give you the point and then you'll understand.
Okay.
Noah's Ark was 4,400 years ago, yeah?
Okay.
So, I'm not disputing that all dogs came from two dogs. What I'm asking you is, how can we possibly have got to 3,000 breeds of dogs in 4,500 years? So I'm disputing the timeline is my point.
Gotcha. 4,500 years ago. All the population models fit us, brother.
I'm not asking about the population of Earth. I'm talking
about all the dogs in the world could come from two, like all the elephants in the world could come from two elephants that got off Noah's Ark. All the population models fit the young Earth creationist, meaning that your question is how do we see all the different dogs today that come off of Noah's Ark? So I imagine your argument is this is not enough time to get the dog breeds that we have today, right? That's your argument?
That's my argument, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's just, your argument doesn't stand because the population models fit us, meaning that we have watched this happen within our lifetime, so I don't imagine why you would say something like it couldn't happen when humans have literally notated this. They've domesticated dogs and then bred the dogs to what we have today. This is 1,000,000% testable and observable. We know that humans did this and notated a lot of it, right? So saying that it's not enough time when we know that it absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt is, I'm just a little lost on. Because that's why I said I thought we already agreed on it.
Right. Let me break this down a wee bit. I'm not disputing at all that humans domesticated dogs, but I'm asking you, go through the timeline how a wolf can turn into a Jack Russell or a Chihuahua over 4,000 years. Tell me the timeline how that possibly works in 4,500 years.
Why do you agree with me that we have watched this happen? It is testable and observable, and then the next breath you say that this time it's not the time. In the last 4,500, brother, let's do it again. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, but let's do it again, okay? So we have tested and observed within the last 4,500 years, humans have taken the wolf kind of animal, domesticated it, and then got all the dog breeds that we have today from that. That's been tested and observed. That's happened.
It's not been tested and observed.
Do you think there's wild Chihuahuas out there, or do you think that people domesticated them and then bred them down to a Chihuahua, or do you think a Chihuahua is something that happens in the wild?
Let me spell this out, right? I am not disputing.
I don't need you to spell it out now. What I need you to do is, because I've walked through it with you now, I just need you to answer questions directly, and out of respect, I'll do the same. Do you believe that Chihuahuas happened in the wild, or do you believe that humans domesticated the dog kind of animal and then bred it down to Chihuahuas. Do you believe that, or which one?
I believe the secondary.
All right, so humans domesticated it and then bred them down, right?
100%.
So when did? Okay, so and you're saying that we don't know that we've domesticated the wolves?
You're missing the point. I'm talking about the timeline.
Okay, what's the problem with it?
And when some people.
Right. I'll tell you what the problem is, right? 4,500 years ago, Noah's Ark occurred, okay? So we've got 8 human beings left on the planet, yeah? So do you think those 8 humans at that time started domesticating the 2 wolves that were on Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
Right there and then. Right.
Yeah, as soon as they got off the ark. Sure.
As soon as they got off the ark, they started domesticating the wolves. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Okay, let's just say
that's what I'm saying.
Let's just say you're right.
He is right.
Okay, he's right. He's right. Let's say he's right. So, the 2 wolves have a puppy. What does that puppy look like?
A dog.
No, the puppy's going to look like his parents, is it not?
A dog. Yeah, there you go.
A wolf. I thought we were talking about wolf here.
Okay, same thing. Dog kind, wolf kind. Yes, I got you.
Right. Okay. So, how many puppies did those 2 wolves have?
I don't know. You tell me how many they had.
Usually wolves have a litter of about 6. Right. So there was 6 litters from those first 2, and they all look the same as their parents. Okay. So let's say the brothers and sisters breed 10 years later. What do their puppies look like?
Dogs, or the wolf kind.
Yeah. So how many years do you think it takes for them to look differently from their parents?
Well, it depends, because you can do this in generations very quickly. If humans get involved, which they did, and you domesticate it, and then you specifically select the traits, it can happen very quickly. Just like I've mentioned now, probably for the 15th or 16th time that this is testable and observable, we watch this happen.
Doesn't happen in 4,500 years, though, is what I'm saying to you. You don't get 3,000 breeds of dog in 4,500 years.
But the population models do fit us, brother. I'm sorry you don't like that, but they do fit us. Now, I do understand that they're going to say that there's remains of ancient dogs that lived hundreds of thousands of years ago or tens of thousands of years ago, and they're using carbon dating. I don't care about none of that stuff because I like to go with testable and observable. And what we've tested and observed, which is actually part of science, is that yes, you can get many, many, many different breeds of dogs, and then it compounds exponentially. So the moment you have 4 dogs and then you select, 4 breeds, once you get 4 breeds of dogs and then you select specific traits out of those and you get out of their children, you get new breeds. If you started off with 4 and out of their children, you just doubled that, right? So then you instantly overnight, you went to 8 because you selectively bred a new trait into that, right? So it starts to happen very rapidly the more you get. So I would concede that within the first 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, or even 1,000 years, it probably happened very slowly. But once you start getting trait isolation and encouraging or discouraging certain traits, once you get to a couple of generations, then it's going to start to compound a lot more. But you cannot take the Chihuahua and breed it back to the wolf. So that's not evolution.
We're going to need to agree to disagree. So, do you believe in Genesis was poetic or literal?
Both. I think it was literal, but it was written poetically so that people could remember it. That's how they wrote things back then, because this culture wasn't a read culture. They were a memorized culture. So you had scrolls that were made out of papyri. These were extremely expensive even for the time, because you had to get the grass and turn it into paper, right? And it was very delicate, and only the priests and stuff could have it. So what you would do is you would try to memorize it so that you could, so that you could have the Bible too, if you would. So they wrote it in a way that's poetic, but it's poetically written so that they could remember it. Just like if you write a song, right? there's plenty of songs that you can remember just because of the song, right? You love the song, you like the song, so 20 years later you can still remember the words of the song because of the rhythm and the way that you liked it. And that's what they would do with the Old Testament, right? They would write it poetically so that they could remember it. So that's why when I argue with Christians that say the Bible was written to be poetic, it's written in the style of like being poetic, but it's telling a real story. It's not meant to be a make-believe story. They wrote it that way so that they could do repetition and remember it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So which parts of Genesis would you say were literal? So do you believe that God created Earth in 7 days? Obviously, took a rest in the Sabbath.
He created it. He created it in 6. He rested on the 7th, and I would say that I believe the parts that's meant to be taken literal, I take that as literal, and then the parts that I believe that the creation, I believe that, and then some parts I do believe are meant to be taken semantically, or it's our point of view. Like, for example, when it says that the earth stood still, or the sun stood still in the sky, right? That's from a perspective. I actually don't believe that the sun actually stopped moving, but the earth is the one that actually stopped spinning in an effort for that to happen. That doesn't make the Bible wrong. That's just writing it from the perspective of the one, or telling the story from the perspective of the one writing it. That's exactly what happens. It's no different than us saying sunset or sunrise today, when we know the actual sun doesn't rise or set. It's the perspective of you're looking at it from the earth spinning. So those parts I take to be semantic, because that's what it means, and that's the context of the verse. But when the context is meant to be taken literal, then I take it literal. So I do believe in a 6-day creation, and I believe that it was meant to be taken literally.
And just following on from that, are you of the opinion that they are 6,500 year old or 500,000 year old, or where are you on that?
I don't know the age of the earth. My personal belief system is that it's less than 10,000, but my honest answer is I don't know.
So you think the earth's less than 10,000 year old?
Yeah.
Okay. So what age do you think the universe is?
Same. God made them within the 6 days. So if he made everything within the 6 days, honest answer is I don't know, but my belief system is that it's less than 10,000.
Okay. But if you're taking it literally, then when did God create the sun? Which day?
Day 4.
And when did he create light?
Day 1.
How do you explain that?
Yeah, it says God is light. So honest explanation, as I can explain, that we're looking at light as a photon, right? So the sun produced light as a photon, and then it says that God himself is light. So I wouldn't know how to explain that.
Right. Okay. Does anybody else want to talk? Because obviously I can really. I can double down here, and I don't. Please don't think I'm trying to insult you, because.
You're not going to hurt my feelings, brother. I do this all the time, because it's okay for, like, if I start doing you the same way. Like, let me ask you a question. Do you believe you believe in evolution, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So do you believe in abiogenesis without a creator?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So you believe you come from a rock, basically. You think that's more reasonable than a god?
Do I think me coming from a rock?
Yeah.
I think we all came from atoms and electrons, yeah. So if you want to call that a rock, then yeah. I believe.
Well, the theory teaches that it rained on the rocks for millions of years. The acidic rain dissolved the rocks into a chemical soup. Lightning struck the chemical soup, created amino acids that struck that.
Who said that?
No problem. That's the theory of evolution. That's first of all, you believe, it depends. You either believe that the universe is eternal, or you believe that matter was created in the Big Bang. Either way, once the earth was formed, after the sun was formed, through you have no other mass in the gravity other than hydrogen and helium, right? We know that mass creates gravity, right? So The only mass that exists in the universe is the mass from the gas molecules, which are hydrogen and helium. This is your guys' theory. You guys believe that the Big Bang created hydrogen and helium. And then from hydrogen and helium condensed into huge gas clouds and then somehow collapsed in on itself through its own gravitational weight when gas expands several times its own gravitational weight, which doesn't make any sense. You guys have to have some kind of rescue technique to make that happen because hot gas will expand and it'll expand several times its own gravitational weight. So what gravity caused the gas to stay there? Because you can't, it has to be an outside gravity. But anyway, you guys believe that stars formed and then stars exploded. After the star, when inside the stars, this is where you get your heavier elements. Once the stars explode, then this creates the material for you to make rocky planets. The rocky planet, after the star exploded, the gas recapitulated, right? Formed into another star and ignited, and then the molecules that were farther away turned into the planets that we have. One of them being the rocky planet that we have, Earth. Earth was a hot and molten ball of rock, and then wherever the water came from, it rained on the rocks for millions of years. That's how we got our oceans. The acidic rain dissolved the rocks into a chemical soup. Lightning then struck the chemical soup and created amino acids. Lightning then struck that and created your first single-celled organism. So that's why I said, which one's more plausible? God did it or a rock did it? You believe a rock did it. I believe God did it. So when I ask you questions, that's why I don't get offended by you asking me questions about my religion, because I promise you it's not as silly.
No. If you want me to answer, then fine.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't really ask me a question. What you did was assume what I believed. So you assumed.
I asked you if you believed in that. Hold on, brother. I will let you respond. I promise you. But don't set the frame up like that, because yes, I did. I asked you if you believe in abiogenesis, and then I asked you if you believed it without a deity, meaning abiogenesis without a God. And then I explained that you believe you come from a rock, and you're like, wait, what? So then I went through the theory of evolution. So if you disagree with some of that, that's what the theory is. But please go ahead.
No. What you did, evolution is separate from how the universe was created.
No, it's not. That's why they call it stellar and cosmic. Stellar evolution and cosmic evolution is evolution. Then you got abiogenesis, which would be like a biological evolution. So you guys don't hold the title just for evolution. It's not true.
You keep saying you guys, right? There's lots of different theories as to how the universe was produced and how the universe is here. There is only one or two different theories on evolution in terms of the Earth. But the Earth is a tiny little rock and a massive. You do understand.
I understand. Can you go? Let's stay where we're at. You do understand that stellar evolution is a thing, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so then don't say it's part of evolution when you literally just agree with me. So it is part of evolution.
No.
Thank you.
No, it's separate.
No. Yes. No. Yes. No. That's your religion. You got yes. No. This is why it's so confusing talking to you guys, man.
No. Stop saying you guys. Evolution on Earth is a separate thing from evolution in the universe.
Okay, great. Still evolution, though, right?
Still evolution, but it's totally different things.
Okay, I understand that. That's why I explained them as different things. I didn't explain them as the same thing. When I say you guys, I'm talking about evolutionists. Don't take offense to it. I'm just saying this is no disrespect to you, but you're doing the same thing that every evolutionist does in my life.
No, I'm not. No, I have
yes,
I have a different theory on how the universe was produced, as opposed to how human life was produced on Earth. Two totally different things. It's going to be hard for you to understand this because you think the universe is 10,000 years old or less.
Mm-hmm.
You think every single star in the whole. Do you know how many stars are in the Milky Way?
Like 6 sectillion, I think it is.
No. 300 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the Milky Way, I just assumed you were going to say entire universe. I apologize.
No, the universe. There's countless, right? But you think everything in the universe was only created 10,000 years ago.
Yep.
So what was God doing before 10,000 years ago then?
That's a self-defeating statement.
Why?
Because as soon as you said it, like, what was he doing before time? That's
before time. Is that how you measure time? Is that how you measure
Yes.
time?
What does he do? Yeah, that's literally what you just said. So it's a
It's not what I
self-defeating
just
statement.
said. It's not what I just said. I said,
Say it again then. Maybe I misunderstood.
right, you believe that God created everything, yeah?
Yep.
So that would include planets, life, time.
10,000 years ago. Yep.
Yep. So how long has God been around?
There you go. It's a self-defeating statement. You just put him within time.
All right. So I can't
Now, if
put
you're-
it
if-
within time.
No,
Can I
you can't put him within time.
can I
That
put
doesn't,
him-
because it's a self-defeating statement.
Right. Okay. Can I put him within space?
No, you can't put him within inside
No,
time, space, or
where-
matter. Any deity. If you're
where-
going to invoke deity, you can't. You have to be. It has to be outside of time, space, and matter, by
Right,
definition.
Okay. If it has to be out with time, space, and matter, then what would be the point in God without time, space, and matter?
Paul, buddy, you're not going to go anywhere. He's just defined the God as not being in these things. That is not a definition of a God. It's his definition of a God. The frustration in your
No,
voice is
it's-
so. It's your
It's not.
definition
It's
of
not
God.
my definition of God. It is the definition of God. So you have a dichotomy. It's either the universe came into existence through natural causes. Okay. Do you understand what the cosmological argument is?
Yes, it's nonsense.
Okay, so you can say that it's nonsense, but if you understand it, then you know that it's just not my definition of God. Then, right? I know. I know you didn't, but since he's wanting to come up here and claim that I have this
frustrating, Paul,
definition.
it's so frustrating. Paul's here trying to have an honest conversation, and you're
Yeah, it
here
is.
conflating.
Yeah, when people come up and start interrupting somebody when they're talking and then making accusations and not being able to support them, it's very frustrating. I understand where you're coming from. I apologize, brother. You interrupted. Go ahead.
Yeah, the point I was making was that you think the whole universe was created. So do you think God created the universe as it is just now?
Well, I think that Newton's second law of thermodynamics kicked in, so things started to tend towards chaos and decay and started to fall apart after Adam sinned. But I think he made it perfect, if that's the best way that I can answer that.
No, that doesn't really answer.
Thank you for having me on the panel, brother.
Thank you, brother. Hey, Paul, you got anything else before I move on, man? Because I've been on with you for a little while, so I want to give other people an opportunity. I'm not kicking you or anything. You're welcome to stay. I just want to.
I'll listen to what other people saying. If I disagree, if you let me butt back in, that would be great. Thanks.
Sounds good, brother. What's up, Blue?
Thank you.
Blue? What's up?
I don't want to take up a bunch of your time, but I will say a few things that might help some of the people that are on the fence. You mentioned the second law of thermodynamics, which is in effect. So gravity, this thing they call gravity, which is their answer for everything, does not affect gases. And this is easily proven repeatedly. So,
Blue, are you? Let me ask you a question, man. I don't want to sound disrespectful at all, but you're a flat Earth guy?
100%.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't like throwing rocks with inside the tent, but that's just not my life.
Well, if you believe in the Bible, it tells you over 30 times in the King James Version that the Earth does
I got
not
you, man.
move.
I do
The Earth
appreciate
does
it.
not
I'm not
move.
trying. I know. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but that's not my life. And there's plenty of lives that discuss the flat Earth. I love the flat Earth guys. It's just not my life. So you can have it on somebody else's life. And that's not me being disrespectful. I love you guys. It's just not for me. That's somebody else's dragon to slay. It's not my dragon. Disordered. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Hanging in there, man.
I have very simple question for you.
Okay.
We talked it. I don't remember. Maybe yesterday.
It was yesterday. I remember.
Yes, in my country, we have a cave. It's called Chanadar. We discovered there seven skeletons. It's called Neanderthal skeletons. I'm gonna write it in the chat. Chanadar Neanderthal skeleton. They look different from Homo sapiens.
Oh, Neanderthal. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your response to this?
They're just humans. Matter of fact, they're in the Homo species. We still share their DNA. They still share in our DNA. They had culture. They had musical instruments. They buried their dead. They're literally just humans that got off into their own tribe and had certain trait isolations, no different than tribes get off today. But they're just normal, everyday humans.
Yes, but I went to this cave and I looked at the pictures of the skeletons. The anatomy of their body is different, slightly different.
Well, they're shorter and they're shorter and stockier than us. Their heads are a little bit bigger, but that's still just like a tribe. There's certain tribes in Africa that the NBA used to go recruit specific tribe members because of their trait isolation caused the tribe to get extremely tall. This is like a Kimbi Mutombo and all these guys that used to play in the NBA. They literally would go to Africa in an effort to recruit these individuals from these specific tribes because the trait isolation caused them to be extremely tall. Now, once they kind of been out and discovered and the Western world's been, they've been involved and had more trade and stuff with them, then that trade is no longer predominant. They started marrying outside of that tribe. And so we don't see them get as tall as they once did, is my understanding. But my point is that's just a trait isolation. So the Neanderthals were shorter and stockier than us with a little bit bigger heads, but they're still humans. No different than an African who is really tall, like 8 foot tall, is still a human. They're just really tall.
Yes, you're right. We have something in molecular biology or genetics, phenotype, appearance of the human. It's equal to the genotype, genome sequence, plus environmental factor. So maybe environmental factor made some of their genes to be off, other genes to be on, so they look different. If we want to make a strong evidence from this, we have to make genetical analysis for them. I don't know why till now the genetical analysis has not been published. Their DNA not sequenced.
You can get, sorry to butt in, but you can actually get the test, your DNA test, and find out how much Neanderthal you have in you if you're Caucasian or Asian. I've got like 2% Neanderthal in me. I don't have a huge head though. And I don't drag my knuckles, as they say, but no, yeah, anyone can get that test done through any of the ancestry type DNA tests.
Amen.
So
Hello, DOA.
I'm sure they've mapped it. The thing is, if there was a link between apes and humans, don't you think they would have already mapped it? Is exactly what this guy's saying, and there isn't any. That's the hilarious part. Is they go off of like 3 or 4 skeletons that are partial skeletons that they can never find any more of that unless they're talking about Neanderthal or Denisovians, right? And those are just like the host is saying, those are just types of humans. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to interbreed with them. That's why I have Neanderthal in me. It's simple. And I just also wanted to say that the Mastiff is 2,000 years old. The Celts used it fighting the Romans. There's many breeds that are at least 2,000 years old. That's what I originally went on to say. And then also, if people are confused about God not being inside time, there's other dimensions, right? The 4th dimension, it goes all the way up to 11 in physics. So, people that study physics and have PhDs in physics have no problem with understanding this. It's just, for some reason, they don't want to talk about it in the evolution circles. I don't know why.
Quite frankly, I'm jerking my penis right now. I'm doing it so well, quite frankly. A lot of people said I could jerk my penis so frank.
What the heck? Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say that, man. There's many dog breeds that are probably more than 2,000 years old. So, and of course, just look up how many dimensions we have. They've all been of course, they've been mathematically proven, but
they don't know how to get to them unless you're using, let's say, quantum computing, which they're messing with now, which is basically kind of creating outlets for that, for other dimensions. So
Just ask a question.
anyways, that's all I had to say. I'll just sit back and listen now.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
How can you expect a fellow of the Royal Society of any of the royal institutions that do research to take anybody that quotes scripture as being a sensible historian of fact? You are so diminished in any scientific field. You can't debate any of the scientific features of research.
I'm literally doing that. So if you'd like to bring an argument, that'd be pretty good. We'll see if I can contend with it.
Well, how do you, first of all, the 7 rules.
Brother, I don't want to do the ad hominem stuff. Like I said, you guys believe you come from a rock, so we can get past all of the you believe in Sky Daddy. I believe in Sky Daddy. You believe in rock. I think what you believe is just as stupid, if not more stupid, than what I believe. And yes, I can debate it. So how about we get to the evidence and put that to the test, champ? How about we do that? What do you got?
You just talk over people because that makes you feel important.
Get to the evidence, brother. I don't care for your monologue. Get to the evidence or get off my stage.
You're talking rubbish.
These people come up to try to insult me knowing they don't have any clue. Talking about I can't debate. You had no argument. I'm ready to go, hero. I'm ready to go. Any day, anytime, any place. I do this all the time. And I love making y'all look stupid. You come up and say, you guys believe in Sky Daddy. You've been kicked out of every institution because you don't know what you're talking about. All right, what kind of argument do you got? Oh, God! Run away. Coward. Absolute coward.
Actually, in the Middle East, we have two teams. One team, they believe in evolution. Another team, they don't believe in evolution. But I never seen something like this happen in your life. When people in the Middle East, they argue or debating, they bring only the evidence. They are not making imagination. They are not fighting. I don't know why people in the USA act like this.
Although that guy was British.
Yeah, okay. I went to many streams on the TikTok about evolution. It's all of them. They look like same. There are two teams. They are ready to fight. They are not ready to debating, bringing evidence, bringing research papers. I don't know why.
I hope that doesn't apply to me because I'm pretty well versed in it. And I try to bring research papers when I can. That's why I ask for arguments, so we don't have to do the ad hominem stuff. I'd much rather just do the paper.
Yes, I saw your live stream, and you are so much patient with the people, and you bring your evidence, your research papers. However, I do believe in evolution, and you don't believe in evolution. This is my second time to be here. Mm-hmm. We are debating. We have no problems. That's easy.
I talked to you yesterday. I remember saying that you were the smartest and the most honest scientist that I've ever talked to.
Thank you. Actually, evolution is a part of my job, and we apply the principle of evolution to make gene cloning, to synthesize insulin from bacteria. We use prokaryotics, but I never fight. If I could, I ask questions. You don't believe in in evolution. I ask you questions, so I get your answers. I go do my researches, my investigations. So I increase my my idea about evolution. I strong my foundation.
Well, like we said yesterday, when we talked yesterday,
one question about evolution. If we do karyotyping, do you know what's karyotyping? It's a test we do in the labs for the pattern and the shape of the chromosomes.
Okay.
If we do karyotyping, we observe that chromosome number 2, if I'm not wrong, it has 2 centromere. It means it's the evidence of the chromosome fusion. It's the evidence of the chromosome fusion. And scientists making strong relationship between chromosomal fusion and evidence of evolution. What's your response to this? And my second question, to be answered at once, my second question, why do you believe in microevolution and not macroevolution? What's the difference between them?
Micro is just trait isolation, encouraging or discouraging, and then macroevolution would be genetic information gain. I believe in micro because that is testable and observable, and we see that all the time. I do not believe in macroevolution because clearly that's all inference and has no evidence to support it. That's why I do this, to see if anyone can actually bring it. As far as the human chromosome 2, what they did is they need this to happen because we have 46 and they have 48 chromosomes, so the numbers are off. So you have to say that a fusion happened between the chromosomes in an effort to get the numbers the way that they are. So they went looking for the evidence, and then they imposed that evidence on human chromosome number 2. The alleged fusion site is only 800 BP instead of it's highly degraded. It shouldn't be that degraded if we see that the fusion happened at the time period where they say that it happened. So it's too degraded for it to be a quote unquote fusion. Telomere-like sequence occur everywhere inside the human chromosome, not just human chromosome 2, and it's not just evidence of a fusion site. The proposed fusion region has regulatory activity. So this could also mock a fusion.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
What's your response to the transposon element, transposon gene? We have some genes inside human genome. They are jumping from one location to another.
Yeah, jumping genes. That's what they're designed to do. We've always noticed them do that.
Okay.
Yep.
And scientists say transposon gene may cause new functional genes, may cause new proteins when they jump from one location to another location, or may they cause mutations, defections. What's your response to this, to these scientists who make a relation between transposon element and evolution?
May cause new proteins is a way of saying we don't know that this happens yet. So that's semantic words for we don't know yet. May cause new proteins means that we don't have any evidence for it. That's literally what that means. So I'm not interested in what they believe happens. I'm more interested in the science. And jumping genes is something that we see, right? We've always seen that. It's not like it's I would say it's part of the design factor that God made, the ability for these genes to be able to swap information. But that's not new information. They've literally always done that.
Let's go straight to the point. Your point is that why it's not possible to created all the organisms with the same coding sequence. Your point is that Creator created all the organisms with the same coding system. That's why there's similarity between them.
Yes.
That's why when we investigate in the labs, we find similarity between genome of banana and genome of human. This is your point.
Yes.
100%. Okay, I got you. But you know what? Your question is logical. It's logical because there may be possibility that the creator created them with the same coding system, and there's possibility that we have evolved from evolution. That's why we have similarity. The point is that we have similarity, but But you say this similarity is from the God created from as with the same coding system. And as a scientist, we say that this similarity is due to the evolution. So
If you keep asking the questions,
we want someone to come and bring evidence that this similarity is actually from evolution.
yes.
Right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Brother, I think if you keep asking the
I will
question,
stay here.
I got
will
you. The
stay
Bible
here.
literally says, go ahead, land your plane.
I will stay here. I don't know if you like it or not. If you don't like it, I'm going. I go down and listen to the conversation.
You're welcome. You're welcome to stay up, brother. You keep asking these questions, and I think that you will come to the answer. The Bible says, ask, seek, and knock. So if you're asking the question from a legitimate place, then you're going to find the answer. And the answer is Jesus Christ. So like I told you yesterday, that's my purpose, is to ultimately share him with you. So again, I will offer you the same offer I will always offer you. If you ever want to have a private we don't have to do it in a public setting, but if you'd ever like to know more about him, I'd love to share him with you.
Okay, but don't forget that in other religions as well, there's imagination that God created us with evolution through evolution within 6 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not a salvation issue. So yeah, it's not a salvation issue. So people can believe in evolution and believe in Jesus. I think they're wrong, but it's not a salvation issue. But yeah, man, you're welcome to stay up. Okay, I appreciate it. How do you say your name?
Arakaria.
I don't know. Arakaya. That's a cool name. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's a type of tree. So let's talk more about chromosome 2, because I don't think you've done very much research on it. I think it's some of the best evolution that's the easiest to see for macroevolution. You've got all of the genes in our chromosome 2 that came from chimp chromosome 2A and 2B. You have vestigial telomeres.
How do you know that it come from that? Just because of similar?
Because of parsimony.
Yes. So yeah, similar.
More like Occam's razor, but parsimony.
Well, I mean, I think Occam's razor leans towards me, but okay.
I mean, yeah. So, but it's some of the best evidence we have. So I don't know what you were saying about degradation, but the fact that you have two chromosomes in a very closely related species that's very genetically similar, and you have all of the signs of these two chromosomes merging in our chromosome 2. And so the question is, how do you explain that?
Okay. Do we have examples of chromosomes fusing today?
We do. In our human chromosome 2.
No. I'm talking about testable and observable. Like we can see outside of humans and chromosomes. Like we can see it happen.
I don't know if you can see it happen because it's already happened.
No, that's inference. You're just believing that long ago and far away this happened. That's not testable and observable.
I mean, it is testable and observable. I mean, you use inference too. Inference is a set of logical processes. Like you can't just dismiss arguments out of whole cloth because they require inference.
No, it's not. Well, if the whole thing is inference, yes, I can, and that's the problem with evolution.
Do you believe in DNA?
Do I believe in DNA? Yeah, that's testable and observable.
How do you believe in DNA without inference?
What do you mean?
You can't see it.
Well, you can. You can unravel the code. We even got molecules that attach to it, like chemicals that react to it.
When you interpret those chemicals that attach to it,
I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't use inference. I understand you can inference. I'm saying when your entire theory is based off of inference, right? Let's just say, for example, that human chromosome 2 is the absolute best evidence. It is strikingly the best evidence you've got for evolution. I still couldn't believe in it based off all the other evidence and the amount of assumption and inference that you have in everything else. This right here wouldn't help me cross the fence. Even if I couldn't explain it and say, it's there, everything else still wouldn't get me over the line.
It's very basic, though. You've got our closest ancestor with 2 more chromosomes than we have, and it's very easy to see how those chromosomes merged and gave us 23 pairs instead of 24, and it's a very easy thing to explain.
Oh, I mean, you might be able to explain it, but that doesn't make it true.
No, but it's a great explanation for it though. Like,
okay, even if I was to concede, okay, this is a fusion. So now we have the same number of chromosomes as chimps. How does that mean we're chimps now, or that we came from chimps?
Because if you look at this, you try to figure out how you would explain this, because we're so genetically similar, and there's a pre-existing theory that we may have evolved from chimps. And if you're looking for evidence to support that theory, this is incredibly strong evidence to help support it.
How many chromosomes does a tobacco plant have?
I don't know off the top of my head. Probably more than we do.
Oh, same as we do. Does that make us a tobacco plant?
No, but you can look, like I said, it's not just about the number of chromosomes. You can look at our chromosome 2, and it has the same genes on it that are in chimp chromosome 2A and 2B. So it is not just a count of the number of chromosomes. There's other evidence that backs us up as well.
So we're pretty similar, and I would get similarity. That goes back again to the common designer. Proves common designer just as much as it would common ancestor.
Is that testable and provable?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can make some predictions off what the Bible says, right? It says they will produce after their kind, after their kind, after their kind. That's why my minimum requirement for me to falsify my viewpoint would have to be genetic information gain. That's testable and observable. That's not inferred. Genetic, because you got to be able to pass it on to your children. New information as far as new structures, new function, new code, new DNA, and it'd have to be gained from something that wasn't there before. This is not a ridiculous standard because you guys believe this happened quadrillions of times and is still happening today. So I just need one example of genetic information gained that's testable and observable that's not inferred.
If there was some kind of bird that showed up next week that could grow teeth, where birds haven't had teeth ever in your worldview, would you view that as information gained?
True. We see birds in the fossil record that has teeth. Chickens are born with a tooth. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually change some of the genes around and get chicken to have teeth, if I'm not mistaken. They call it like the dragon chicken or something like that.
Chickens have the genes to grow teeth, despite not having teeth in millions of years.
Yeah, that's my point.
It's vestigial DNA that reflects their evolution.
Okay,
Chickens
they lost their teeth, so if they got their...
Because they came from other animals.
You're not listening. So if they had teeth, right? So your point was if it's a bird that has teeth, it lost the ability and then it regained the ability because the DNA was still inside of it. That's not new information. That's literally just resurfaced information that it got dormant, right? That's like a de novo. It's already there. It's not new information.
And I'm not saying that's new information. I'm just trying to get more of a concrete idea of what you think new information is, because your view on what new information is doesn't agree with what genetics and geneticists.
Yeah, because
geneticists have the definition of information gain. It doesn't match yours.
Yeah, because
I want to know what yours is.
I just gave it to you, and the reason why it doesn't match theirs, so they can get by with inference and not have to produce any evidence. That's why I said genetic information gain. Genetic, because you got to be able to pass it on to your children. New information as far as new structures, new function, new code, new DNA, and it'd have to be gained from something that wasn't there before. And then we went to the chicken with the teeth thing. If chicken already has the code for the DNA code for the ability to grow teeth, then they start growing teeth. That's clearly not new information. They already had it.
Okay, and you're not willing to admit that that's evolution of evidence of macroevolution, because modern birds do not have teeth. They evolved from a species which did have the ability to have teeth.
That's inference. If it's still in their code and they get teeth, then that's not new information. That's literally information that's already been there. I forget what.
And
what
then, like I said, I'm not arguing that for the
DNA.
sake of information gain. I'm arguing that is good evolution, good evidence of macroevolution that you're just dismissing out of hand, and you're just throwing the word inference.
I literally just gave you the definition. I'm sorry, I've given you the definition, and you just want to stay on something that's already there. So we can just going to have to agree to disagree. But them already doing something, the ability that they've already had to do, is not new information. That's literally the definition of existing information. So them doing what they have the ability to do is not evolution. It's just not. It can't be.
And I don't think you're listening. I'm not arguing that that's information gain. I'm trying to get a better idea of what your definition of information gain is, but I'm also saying that's very good evidence of macroevolution.
Right.
If we want to talk more
but
about
it couldn't be
information
by
gain,
that
like I brought this
definition
up,
that I just gave.
I brought
So do you
this
have
up.
an example of it?
That's
Of
what I'm trying to
genetic
get to. If
information
you'd stop
gain?
interrupting, like you love
Okay,
to
let's
talk
go there.
over people. Okay.
It's because we haven't
So-
gone nowhere so far. So let's just get there.
Okay. I think a great example of information gain is the genetic mutation that causes sickle cell anemia. In a certain time and place, this gave people the ability to survive malaria. I think that's information gain. You, when I was up here last, compared that to losing a hand.
Yeah, degradation. Yep.
Right. There are some things in certain times and places that are adaptive, and in other times and places are not.
So
People
you've
talk about
already
this
been
with
up here.
food
You
and
already know
nutrition,
that.
right? Like,
Yeah, you already know
people talk
that.
about this with nutrition. If
Brother.
like there are genes that will cause people to overeat, that would be maladaptive in some situations, that are very adaptive in other situations.
Right.
So
So,
you can't just-
degradation
you just
cannot
can't
count
just
as evidence.
dismiss
I
something.
asked for gain.
Yeah.
If you've already been up here, then you already know. So I need some information gain, not degradation.
So you don't think a genetic adaptation that helps people survive disease is information gain?
Not if it's done through degradation, no, because it's the way that we word it that it may be beneficial in a very select scenario. I can give a scenario right now that if I cut off both my arms, I'm immune to handcuffs. And it sounds like a gain in the very select situation that I'm stating that I'm immune to handcuff. That makes it sound like a gain because I've lost my arms. But technically, it's not a gain. I've lost my arms. It
I mean,
is
that's not
beneficial
technically
in
or
the
not.
very
That's
select
your
scenario
opinion.
that I can't be handcuffed.
You're not defining degradation. You're not defining information gain.
Loss of
And
information.
you're just using
gain
arguments
of
ad
I've already-
absurdum to dismiss
All
what
right,
people
brother.
say.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but nuh-uh is not an argument. So if you don't have anything that I can contend with, then just going to move on.
I'm saying you need to define information gain more clearly.
Okay.
Because as it is right now,
I'll
it's just
try.
a matter of opinion, and that's not a thing you
Okay, I'll keep trying. I've defined it for you literally 3 times. I'm sorry, it sounds like you're stuck and you can't go nowhere. But try it again next time.
I try to explain something if you don't mind.
Go ahead, brother.
Gaining new phenotype or new trait is not gaining information. Why? Sometimes we have the specific gene or genotype, but they cannot express until environmental factors make them to express. For example, we have.
What's the name of that? I was trying to think of that.
For example,
Epigenetics.
we have epigenetics, DNA methylation, histone acylation, ubiquitination, RNA, microRNA, chromatid remodeling. They are epigenetic effects. For example, we have specific type of bacteria, Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas can never express all of its phenotype. Pseudomonas, it has many genes. It can produce toxic, but it never express all of them because of the energy, to conserve energy. But when you put it under stress, epigenetic effects change the DNA, switch them on and off, so new phenotype appear, and we observe it in the labs. This is the first thing. The second thing, chromosomal fusion in chromosome number 2, how we decide they are coming from common ancestry or they are coming from champions, because we have similarity in their sequence, right? How you decide their similarity between 2 sequences? How we decide? We have 4 nucleotides in the DNA. If these 4 nucleotides be in the same pattern, be in the same codon, be in the same sequence, we see their similarity. But suppose that I will give you a paper and tell you write 100 letters only by 4 letters. You have adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, and I pick a paper and write 100 letters randomly. How much similarity do you find between my paper and your paper? You find some similarity. We wrote the letters randomly, but you find similarity. Why? Because we have only 4 letters, 4 types of letters. DNA in chimpanzee, they have 4 nucleotides. DNA in human, they have 4 nucleotides. So if this is randomly happen, there will be similarity. So the similarity, we cannot decide only by the similarity that we are coming from common ancestry. We have other tests we have to do them in the labs. This is called bioinformatic tools. We have bioinformatic
What
tools.
he was, what I was trying to think of when I was. I got you, brother. What I was trying to think of when I was hold on, let me land this. What I was trying to think of when I was talking to that guy was epigenetics, right? So for those of you who are listening, when he's talking about they found this gene inside of a chicken that has teeth. Well, a chick is actually born with a tooth. It's an egg tooth. It's a tooth that's born on the end of its beak that it literally uses to crack the shell. And yes, it is a tooth. That's what it's for. So they have this DNA within them already. Right? You can have a penguin open its mouth and it looks like it's full of teeth. Now, they don't classify it as teeth because of the way that it's made, but clearly, it's just our classification system. But penguins look like they have teeth, right? So they found this epigenetics is a gene that already exists within the animal that seems to be de novo for most of its life until something happens and then it activates that gene. Epigenetics is one of the best arguments for design, period, because it shows that if this animal faces a new threat or something like that, it activates this gene that it has that only gets activated in certain situations. Like there's the rice fish of Japan. If it's in certain climates, then it has this epigenetic gene inside of it that allows its digestive system to grow longer. And it's colder, this allows it to get more nutrition out of its food to survive in colder climates or something like that. But long story short, this gene is there. It looks like design because it's ready. It's completely useless until it faces a very specific threat that it needs, and then this gene activates and turns on. This is probably what most de novo genes are, or what they used to call junk DNA. So epigenetics, in my opinion, is one of the strongest evidences for a designer.
Yes. Can you tell me the best scientific evidence to be used against atheists? We have scientific theory or scientific principle. We can use this scientific theory is very strong against who don't believe in God. Can you tell me what's this?
I would probably say what I just said, epigenetics.
No, write in your computer the principles of cell theory. Write it.
Cell theory?
The principles of cell theory. It's 3 point. Cell is the smallest building block of all organism. Can you write the third one for me? Can you read it? The third one?
Write it down. Hold on. I didn't look it up. Of cell
theory.
Principle. The principles of cell theory. Okay, let's see.
What's the third point?
Hold on 1 second. It's loading up for me here. Got a slow internet. Give me 1 second. All right, number 3, all cells come from pre-existing cells.
So, what is abiogenesis? Is it false?
That's. See, that's why I like you, man. You're strengthening my arguments, and you're on the other side of the fence. That's somebody that is good can do that. They can point out the weak parts of their own argument. That's very commendable.
I do believe in evolution. Okay. This is when cell theory, it's a principle of cell theory. So this principle, this theory is applied to the cell in all organisms without exception. Bacteria, amoeba, plants, algae, fungi, eukaryotic cells, human cells in the bird, cells in the fish. So the cell only come from pre-existing cell. Where does pre-existing cell come from? There's no answer.
Yeah, we get to the first calls, uncalls. Yep.
Yes.
All cells come from pre-existing cells.
Okay, we have another strong evidence. Let me share it later with you.
Okay, we'll save it for next time, right?
Okay.
All right, guys. What great conversation. And my man actually gave me something else to look up. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I was trying to think of epigenetics when I was talking to the other guy, and it was in my head, but I couldn't get it out on my tongue. But that's what I was trying to go to. Yeah.
I have 5 published
All right, guys. So listen.
From epigenetics.
Yep.
I have 5 published papers.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Do you know why scientists cannot synthesize cell from chemicals, non-living things? The main reason is epigenetic effects. The main reason. They cannot control switching on and off the genes with the epigenetic effects. They cannot create how epigenetic effects work. They don't know the mechanisms that epigenetic effects making the some genes to be on, some genes to be off. They don't know this mechanism. We have something called inactive X chromosome. In every female, one of chromosomes is inactivated. This happens through epigenetic effects. They created a very simple cell, what's called spoot cell, but they cannot control the epigenetics in order to make this cell to be complex, to be like
yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Cell. Yes.
Yeah, it's not a real cell. All right, guys, winding down towards the end of the live. If anybody has any additional questions, now would be the time to ask. As always, I want to take the time towards the end to say I appreciate all the support that I get from everyone, everyone that puts a little money in the plate, and also goes to, some people do it on the live by giving me a sticker. Some people go directly to my PayPal and throw a little change in there. I never ask for it, but I always want to say that it's appreciated. And I thank you. Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming up. So what I usually try to do is I'm right in the middle of a conversation or right in the middle of the debate. I don't have time to stop and say thank you for it, but it doesn't go unnoticed. I usually try to throw up a salute to say thank you. But I do appreciate it. It's going right back into the ministry. So a couple things coming up. I stay busy on this. I know a lot of people, they don't know how much work goes into this, but this is just for the times that I go live, getting the research papers. That way, when somebody comes up with an argument, I can instantly go there and say, this is what this is. And sometimes I don't know it, but that's when somebody brings me a new argument. I like to go look at those papers. It takes a lot. It's more than an 8-hour job. I study this stuff a lot in an effort to stay up on it so that I'm not stumped when when an evolutionist come in here and claims that it's not real. And I can do that through you guys, through all the support that you guys give me. I got some exciting stuff coming up. I'm going to start promoting it, like I said, Monday. Not this coming up Friday, but the next. Mr. Oakdale Curtis, again, he will be in my live, and he will be going over the Shroud of Turin. So I'm looking forward to that, because I can honestly say I don't know. Right? I don't know a lot about it. He's in the comments, my man Oakdale. If you guys hadn't heard it, he's invited me before, and I've heard part of his presentation, but because of work and stuff like that, I haven't been able to hear the whole thing. And I can honestly say that I do not have an opinion on it one way or another, because it's not something that I've studied a whole lot. So I'm really looking forward to that presentation. And so that is not going to be this Friday, but it's going to be the 4th, the Friday after next. And like I said, I will start promoting that. And I'm able to do that because you guys, throw some money in the plate. So again, thank you for that. Starting to make more simple, AI videos, and then hopefully I can start doing, I'm trying to look into see which one would be the best for me right now. I can't do something like a StreamYard or something like that, because it allows me to pull people up live, but then I have to send them like a QR code basically for them to join in. And I don't know how that would do, since I'm only fairly big, if you will, on a TikTok platform. So I think I need to invest a little bit more and start going live on some of the other platforms to grow over there. That way I can start going live on different platforms and get a lot bigger. And long story short, it's because of the support from you guys. Obviously, God gets all of the glory for it. But I know that obviously the Bible says that if you give, it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall man give unto your bosom, right? So God blesses us through other people. And I can clearly see that he is blessing me through all of the support that I get from you guys. Not only the monetary support, but the support of watching my show and the support of actually, coming up telling me that I have strengthened you guys' faith, or that I planted some seeds, or whatever it is. I appreciate all the support that I get all the way around. So let's see, what's today? Wednesday. I go live definitely on Mondays and Wednesdays for sure. And then after that, I go live randomly. Mondays and Wednesdays about 5:20ish, 5:30ish, around that time frame. Definitely Mondays and Wednesdays, but then randomly after that. I've been looking at my analytics, and I think Sunday nights are probably going to be pretty big. So I may try to do a Sunday night every now and again to see if I can pull in some more numbers. Because if you look at the analytics of TikTok, it'll tell you when your viewers are active. active the most. So I may try to hit some of those up. Anyway, I appreciate it. God bless. And as always, Mr. Allen, you get the last word.
Okay, I was going to ask you, while everybody's still on here, what are you going to do about Labor Day?
What do you mean?
It's on a Monday. You just going to go live on Labor Day?
If I'm not going to go live, I'll usually post a video on my channel just saying, hey, I can't go live. Don't know if I'll go live Labor Day or not, but I mean, more than likely I probably will, because it's a Monday, and then it's good to go if I don't have anything going on with the fam. I mean, obviously the wife will. If the wife threatens me, then I'll have to spend time with her. But yeah, as of right now, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't go live, because it's a holiday. So I like getting in those bigger numbers during stuff like that. And then usually what I try to do is during holidays, probably wouldn't work with Labor Day as much, but I usually try to do a themed thing, like I did for Easter, how the Easter egg is not anti-biblical, you know what I mean? It started off as a Christian tradition. So it's not anti-Jesus. They actually used to paint the eggs red in an effort to represent Lent, and then when they painted the eggs red, it represented the blood of Christ. And so it was actually a Christian tradition, and then a lot of people started saying it's pagan and it represents all of these different things. So I like to go over the history of stuff like that during holidays. So anyway, long story short, to answer your question very directly, is right now, Mr. Allen, I don't know. But if I plan on not going live, then you guys can check my videos out on my page. And at any time, I won't be able to go live unless it's an emergency or an activation or something like that. Then I'll pin it in the top of my videos, just saying, hey guys, I'm not going to be able to make it live tonight or whatever.
Yeah, I thought you might want to put that information out there,
Yeah, as of right now, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. So.
Okay, like always, God bless you and keep going strong.
All right, amen. See you guys. Have a good one.